How's it going, guys, and welcome to something that's a little bit different on my channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I believe are the biggest issues negatively affecting the game, and what I think some changes could be that would provide positive impact for the game and keep the player base healthy and active moving forward further into 2019. This video is just my opinion on what I think needs to be changed for the good of Battlefield 5, but I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. The first issue that I would like to focus on is game mode, map and balance. This is one of the most disappointing things about Battlefield 5 for me, as I was such a huge fan of Grand Operations in Battlefield 1, almost exclusively playing this mode. Grand Ops in this game, however, is an empty shell of what it once was. Half of the maps don't even play correctly, with one side almost always dominating the other, an example of this being Breakthrough Attack on Aerodrome. The main issue with Grand Ops, however, is the scoring mechanism, which to me just completely seems broken. How one team can dominate the other for 2 or 3 days and then lose 3 objectives on the final day and be classed as a major defeat is just plain stupid. Comments have been shared by DICE developers that the Final Stand game mode hasn't played out the way that they had hoped it would, with the mode almost never triggering under normal Grand Ops circumstances. Hopefully, when this is addressed in an update, the developers will look into changes to the scoring system to make Grand Ops feel more like its intense, large-scale counterpart from Battlefield 1. Following on from this is personally one of the most annoying things I have to deal with constantly when playing the game. Joining a game from the server browser feels like running headfirst at a brick wall 80% of the time. Queuing up to join a lobby for a map and game mode you desire, only to join a game with 25 tickets left on the losing side with V1 bombers dropping onto your head like hellfire from above, is probably my biggest gripe with Battlefield 5 to date. This is a massive off-put to me and I assume to other players of the game. A possible change for this system would be an indicator of game duration that remains on each of the lobbies to prevent the frustration of joining a game with less than a minute remaining. Another issue that I'm sure everyone watching this video will be aware of and agree with that needs changing is the assignment system. The necessity to back out of a lobby and change one of your 4 active assignments seems like a wholly unnecessary and archaic mode of functionality. I remember the days of playing Call of Duty 4 12 years ago now and having every challenge available to be completed at any time. Even upon completion of a previous challenge stage, the next would unlock and allow you to begin working towards its completion mid-game. This hopefully will be addressed soon, with the ability to at least change one of the active assignments from the menu mid-game. Another issue that needs to be resolved sooner rather than later is the level cap of 50. This one doesn't make any sense at all. It's different from previous titles and stands for nothing. Players like the feeling of achieving many goals as they play, and this arbitrary level cap seems to make no sense whatsoever. Lobbies are full of level 50 players now, and level seems to give no indication at all about the amount of time a certain player has put into the game. Hopefully, DICE can produce a fix for this soon, and at least increase the level cap to 100, so that players can start to gain ranks again. This next issue I hope is addressed may be divisive and many of you watching may not agree with me, and that is class balancing. I am primarily a recon player, which means that whatever I say here should be taken with a pinch of salt, and I'm aware of the possibility that my opinion on this may include a certain level of bias. Despite that, to me, assault feels like the strongest class in the game by far. For example, the semi-auto rifles that the assault class get access to are far, far superior to the semi-auto recon rifles. This isn't just in DPS, but in ammo capacity and accuracy. To me, that does not seem fair when considering that the magnified optics on all recon weapons produce a scope glint, but those same scopes on assault weapons do not. To me, there is no logical explanation for that whatsoever. Where is the balance in that? Other issues that I think need to be addressed here are the bipod usage by support players when they are laying on their back, but I am sure that DICE have already stated that they are working on a fix for this. This is probably due to the fact that in the current state, it visually appears that a lifeless corpse is lighting you up with a Lewis gun as you run past it. One of the major issues I see with the multiplayer aspect of Battlefield 5 going forward is the number of maps and theatres of war available and their release schedule as the game progresses. When I heard that Battlefield 5 was going to have no season pass and was going to get constant updates and DLC with no additional costs, I was as excited and surprised as the next addicted gamer. But 3 months into the game, I feel like I'm beginning to see the bigger picture. Battlefield 1 launched with more maps and theatres of war than Battlefield 5 did, and the lack of maps and enjoyable game modes I feel is starting to have negative effect on the activity of the player base. This becomes an increasing issue when the lower sales numbers of the game are taken into account when comparing the game to Battlefield 1. From the trailers that have been released so far, it seems like we may not get any other maps, and we are certainly not getting any new theatres of war until at least April, following the release of the Battle Royale mode Firestorm. I'm not an overly impatient person, but I think for the good of the game to ensure that people keep playing and buying the title, that new theatres of war, such as the Eastern Front, need to make an appearance into the game sooner rather than later. Hopefully, bringing back some iconic battles from the war or even previous Battlefield titles. Battlefield 1 required maps and theatres of war and weapons to be released with each DLC to ensure that the content would sell and keep players subscribed. I'm just worried that this is less of a concern now that there is no additional revenue to be made from having extra content with big game patches. Hopefully, the introduction of cosmetic microtransactions will have a positive effect on this and ensure the future of the game. A final point I'd like to make is the general bug fixes that still need to be addressed. It's not uncommon on Reddit to see players complaining of endless load screens, hackers, vaulting issues and falling through the maps. These types of problems will frustrate players and will cause players to look for their entertainment on other titles if repeatedly frustrated by them. Hopefully, DICE can ensure that the most annoying and game-breaking bugs can be polished out of the game to keep frustration of the player base to a minimum and keep players playing and buying cosmetics to keep the game healthy and alive. I love this game. I think the gameplay and the graphics are amazing. I just hope that with some changes and the introduction of new content that the game stabilises and continues to grow throughout 2019. Hopefully with a boost upon the release of the Battle Royale mode. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the major issues that face Battlefield 5 in 2019, and if you did, give the video a like, and if you didn't, a dislike. Please let me know what you would like to see DICE focus on fixing in Battlefield 5 in early 2019 in the comment section below. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and check out my other videos where I provide historical commentary on the iconic battles and weapons featured in the game. Thanks again for watching.